Welcome back. In our last lesson, we learned about how to say or, as well as a few ways to say instead of and besides. And in this lesson, I'll teach you about how to say only as well as not only. And just like before, I'll also be teaching some more advanced ways to do this. First, here are all of the topics we're going to be learning about in this lesson. Okay, now let's get started with the very first form. The simplest way to say only is with the particle man, meaning only or just. Man is only used after nouns and particles, not with verbs.
저만 차가 있어요.
Only I have a car.
철수에게만 줬어요.
I only gave it to Charsu. In addition to meaning besides or except, 밖에 also means only when used with a negative verb. However, it can't be used with the verb 아니다. This can also be used with the topic marker as 밖에는 for more emphasis. 밖에 emphasizes that something is lacking or missing or insufficient. 밖에 will sound more natural than the particle man when it's used to mean only. However, since 밖에 is used to emphasize that something is lacking or missing or insufficient, it can't be used when making commands or suggestions. Use the particle man instead for these sentences.
냉장고에 김치밖에 없어요.
There's only kimchi in the refrigerator.
오늘밖에 시간이 없어요.
I only have time today. In order to use the particle man with a verb, you must first change the verb into a noun using the ending ki. This is followed by the verb hada and becomes kimhada, meaning to only do or to just do. To use it, attach kimhada directly after a verb stem. So hada would become hagimanhada. Hada can also be combined with other forms. First, let's look at how it can be used as is.
오빠는 매일 공부하기만 해요.
My older brother only studies every day.
친구들이 놀기만 해요.
My friends only play.
다음 주에는 잠을 자기만 할 거예요.
Next week, I'm only going to sleep.
우리 집 고양이는 먹기만 해요.
My family's cat only eats.
끝내기만 하세요.
Just finish it. kimhada can also be conjugated to the 음연 form as 기만하면. 기만하면 literally means if one only does or if one just does. More naturally, 기만하면 can also translate as all one has to do is, or simply whenever.
영희는 슬픈 영화를 보기만 하면 울어요.
Whenever Youngie watches a sad movie, she cries.
비가 오기만 하면 사고가 나요.
Whenever it rains, there are accidents.
점심을 먹기만 하면 졸려요.
Whenever I eat lunch, I feel sleepy.
정말로 소풍을 가기만 하면 감기에 걸려요?
Really, whenever you go on a picnic, you catch a cold?
카드를 쓰기만 하면 문자가 와요.
Whenever I use my card, I get a text message. Another way to say only with verbs is with the form 야, which attaches to conjugated verbs. Literally, this form means only if, and it appears in several grammar forms, such as 야 하다 and 야 되다. It can also translate naturally as in order to, or it's necessary to. To use it, conjugate a verb and then attach 야. So 하다 would become 해야. Optionally, attach the particle 만. So 야만. This adds more emphasis to the meaning of only.
거기는 차가 있어야 갈 수 있어요.
You need a car in order to go there. Literally, you can only go there if you have a car.
밥을 다 먹어야 나갈 수 있어요.
I have to finish eating to leave, or I can leave only if I finish eating.
다 같이 해야 재미있어요.
We have to do it all together in order for it to be fun, or only if we do it all together is it fun.
지금 나가야 제 시간에 도착해요.
I have to leave now in order to arrive on time.
지갑에 돈이 있어야 마음이 편해요.
Only if there's money in my wallet do I feel at ease. Another way to say only is with the particle bun. This is different from 밖에 or the particle 만. Bun is used to mean only and nothing more, or just and nothing else. Bun can be used after both nouns and verbs. It can be used by itself or at the end of a sentence by attaching the verb ida. This becomes bunida. Alternatively, use bun or bun with the subject marker as buni, followed by a negative verb to mean only or just in a similar way as 밖에. So to use it, attach bun directly after a noun. So 그것 would become 그것뿐.
지금 할 수 있는 건 공부뿐이에요.
The only thing I can do now is studying.
전화가 2번뿐이 안 왔어요.
Only 2 calls came.
답은 연습뿐이 없어요.
The solution is just practicing.
믿을 수 있는 건 통장에 보이는 숫자뿐이에요.
The only thing I can trust is the number I see in my bank book. To use it with verbs, attach 을, bun directly after a verb stem or past tense verb stem that ends with a consonant, or attach lir, bun if it ends with a vowel. So 하다 would become 할 뿐, and 먹다 will become 먹을 뿐. Common verb stem exceptions may apply. You can pause the video here for some of those. Note that this can be used in the middle of a sentence by itself as bun, or with the verb 이다, 뿐이다.
매일 레몬물을 마셨을 뿐인데 살이 빠졌어요.
All I did was drink lemon water every day, and I lost weight.
저는 본대로 말했을 뿐이에요.
All I did was say what I saw.
저는 제 할 일을 했을 뿐이에요.
I only did the work I was to do.
숲에 갔을 뿐인데 건강해졌어요.
All I did was go to the forest and I got healthy.
철수가 듣기만 할 뿐 아무 말도 안 해요.
철수 only listens but doesn't say anything. 뿐 can be used in 2 ways after a noun. First, it can be used as a regular particle directly after a noun, so 친구뿐, for example. Also, it can be used after verbs. If the verb is 이다, this will become 일뿐. This can also be used directly after a noun, so 친구일 뿐. While both 뿐 and 일뿐 can be used directly after a noun, their nuance is different. 일뿐 sounds negative, like the speaker is complaining or saying that something is less important. 뿐 does not have any negative nuance.
칼로리는 숫자일 뿐 중요하지 않아요.
Calories are just a number and are not important.
작은 실수일 뿐이었어요.
It was just a small mistake and nothing more. 뿐만 아니라 can also be attached after both nouns and verbs in the same way as 뿐. It's a combination of 뿐, the particle 만, and 아니라. It has much more emphasis. You can think of 뿐만 아니라 as meaning not only, but
철수는 똑똑할 뿐만 아니라 인기도 많아요.
not only is 철수 smart, but he's also very popular.
이 옷은 예쁠 뿐만 아니라 시원해요.
Not only are these clothes pretty, but they're cool.
사과는 맛있을 뿐만 아니라 몸에 좋아요.
Not only are apples delicious, but they're good for your body.
이 식당은 한국뿐만 아니라 해외에서도 유명해요.
This restaurant is famous not only in Korea, but also abroad.
그 배우는 연기를 잘할 뿐만 아니라 노래도 잘 불러요.
Not only is that actor good at acting, but they also sing well. Bundoro can be used in the same way as 뿐만 아니라, but with verbs. Or it can be used with nouns by adding the verb 이다 as 일뿐더러. Bundoro is typically used in formal or official writing. It is not used in everyday speech. Bundoro is much less common than 뿐만 아니라. Note that bundoro attaches directly without a space, so 하다 would become 할 뿐더러.
아몬드는 단백질이 풍부할 뿐더러 몸에도 좋아요.
Not only are almonds rich in protein, but they're also good for your body.
이 집은 작을 뿐더러 냄새가 나서 싫어요.
Not only is this house small, but it also smells, so I dislike it.
오래된 신발은 발을 아프게 할 뿐더러 자세를 안 좋게 해요.
Not only do old shoes hurt your feet, but they hurt your posture.
이 집은 값이 쌀 뿐더러 메뉴가 다양해서 학생들이 많이 와요.
Not only is this restaurant inexpensive, but also the menu is varied, so students come here a lot.
예쁜 음식은 보기 좋을 뿐더러 맛도 좋아요.
Not only is pretty food nice to look at, but the flavor is good too. 야말로 is used after a noun in order to emphasize that noun. It's used when the speaker wants to confirm that the noun is especially important. You can think of 야말로 as meaning exactly or indeed after a noun. To use it, attach 야말로 after a noun that ends with a consonant, or attach 야말로 if it ends with a vowel. So 집 would become 집이야말로, and 학교 would become 학교야말로.
책임감이야말로 리더에게 가장 중요한 능력이에요.
Responsibility is the most important ability to a leader.
저야말로 고맙습니다.
It's me who's thankful.
이 집이야말로 제가 꿈꾸던 집이에요.
This house is the house I dreamed of.
오늘 공연이야말로 최고의 공연이었어요.
Today's performance was the best performance.
철수야말로 이 일에 딱이에요.
철수 is perfect for this job. Another way to say not only is with the form konniwa, which is an archaic grammar form. It is not commonly used, but may appear in older speaking. konniwa is used when the speaker agrees with what comes before and adds extra information. You can think of it as meaning, yes, that's true, and... For example, A konniwa B means not only is A true, but also B. To use it, attach konniwa after a verb stem. So hada becomes hagoniwa. When this form is used with the future tense, use either the form kekkoniwa, which comes from the form ketta, or use uryoniwa, which comes from the form uryogo hada.
이 차는 오래됐거니와 고장이 나서 탈 수 없어요.
Not only is this car old, but also it's broken, so I can't ride it.
합격을 하려면 점수가 높아야 하겠거니와 운도 좋아야 해요.
If you're going to pass, not only must your score be high, but you also have to be lucky.
이 둘은 색이 비슷하려니와 크기도 비슷해서 구별하기 어려워요.
Not only are these two a similar color, but also their size is similar too, so it's hard to distinguish them.
이 가방은 활용도가 좋거니와 연예인들이 많이 써서 인기가 많아요.
Not only does this bag have good usability, but also lots of celebrities use it, so it's very popular. Han is used to mean a condition or requirement and is used with verbs. It can translate to as long as or unless, depending on the sentence. You can think of A, Han, B as meaning B as long as A, or A is the condition for B. To use it, conjugate a verb into an adjective in the present tense, and then attach han. So 먹다 would become 먹는 한, and 가능하다 would become 가능한 한.
학생들이 있는 한 계속 가르칠 거예요.
As long as there are students, I'll keep teaching.
제가 계속 공부를 하는 한 여기에 살 거예요.
As long as I keep studying, I'll live here.
가능한 한 빨리 와주세요.
Come here as quickly as possible.
살아있는 한 계속 일을 할 거예요.
As long as I'm alive, I'll keep working.
모두의 생각이 바뀌지 않는 한 변하지 않을 거예요.
As long as everyone's thoughts don't change, it won't change. 이상 can be used to mean that something is expected, normal, or natural, and is used with verbs, commonly also negative verbs. It can also translate to as long as or unless, depending on the sentence. You can think of A 이상 B as meaning because A, of course B. To use it, conjugate a verb into an adjective in the present tense or past tense, and then attach 이상. So 하다 would become 하는 이상 or 한 이상.
걸을 수 있는 이상 계속 여행을 하고 싶어요.
As long as I can walk, I want to keep traveling.
마음을 먹은 이상 끝까지 해보려고요.
As long as I've made up my mind, I want to try doing it to the end, meaning until it's finished.
전문가의 도움이 없는 이상 이건 불가능해요.
Unless I have the help of an expert, this is impossible.
아인슈타인이 오지 않는 이상 이 문제는 풀 수 없어요.
Unless Einstein comes here, I can't solve this problem. And that's all for this lesson. Remember to take your time, take lots of notes, and practice everything in this lesson before moving on. And I'll see you again in the next lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.